Okay, two videos in one day. This one's on a different topic, so I'll put it in a different video because some people will only care about one or the other. Today is Friday, November 17th, and this is the World v World update on the Guildhall Arenas and World Restructuring Beta. So yeah, for anyone who's not caught up on that, World v World Restructuring has been something that's been advertised that they've been working on for years and years and years. They've been having a lot of trouble getting this to work. It's basically the idea of it, for any newbie noobs, is that instead of fighting server versus server, you would fight guilds versus guilds in world versus world. And that way, when you go in there, for example, Maguma is a server that has a reputation for being extremely powerful in World v World. They take it very seriously. They go in there and they just wallop anyone who goes in there casually. So you go in there, if you're facing Maguma, you're honestly just trapped on the spawn for like a week. And so they're trying to make it to where, guilds that are dominating fight other guilds that are dominating, and guilds that are in the middle are fighting other guilds in the middle and stuff like that. And it's not just server versus server. That's what World Restructuring is, but they've been trying to make it work for a long time, and it's been taking a while. The Guildhall Arenas has been a very similar thing. So in a guild hall, there is a big arena, and you might be like, oh, well, if people want to do guild versus guild gameplay, why don't they use that arena? It's because in the guild halls, they use PvE rule sets, which means if you've got a skill that they're like, oh, well, I don't know, Sikkim on Soul Beast was too powerful in PvP, so we nerfed it by 50%, but we'll just leave it the same in PvE because bosses have more health. Well, you go in there and it's PvE rules, so the skill is not nerfed by 50%, and you're just, if you're PvP in there, you're just going to cap people. It's not fair at all because none of the balancing they've ever done in World v World or PvP has been applied to the guild hall. So they have said that they are working on making it more friendly for people who wish to do large-scale PvP in guild halls. Okay, that's the background you would need. Let's see what's new. Greetings, Mist Warriors. We're here to go into a little more detail about some of the upcoming World v World and World v World adjacent changes. These are part of the overall schedule of content coming to the game over the next couple months, which you can learn about in our recent studio update. And there's a link to that. I'll have this whole page linked below. Guildhall Arena update. Guild halls have long been a space where players can gather together to craft their own unique gameplay experience. Roller beetle race courses, jumping puzzles, Asura football, and more. How dare you? Yes, I know about that. We are always thrilled to see the creativity of our community at work, and we want to give creators a few new tools for their toolbox. Currently, guild halls are limited to using PvE game balance rules, creating a very different combat experience than what's found in World v World or PvP. In January, we'll be adding a new option that allows you to choose whether your guild hall arena uses PvE, World v World, or PvP game mode balance for play, which again is huge for anyone who wants to do coordinated stuff. For anyone not familiar with the guild versus guild scene, let's say you've got two big guilds, let's just call them Guild A and Guild B, and they want to fight against one another. There's only, right this second, there's a limited number of options of where they can do that. And if they do it in world versus world, it's actually possible for other people to troll them, and that's been a problem in the past. One issue that I'll say exactly how to do it because it's been nerfed and removed, otherwise I wouldn't advertise this. If you had two guilds fighting together, they almost always start by throwing down a smoke field, and then they both just do a bunch of blast combos, and both huge piles of people go invisible, and then they try to find each other and clash into each other. That's how they almost always begin. Anyway, what would happen sometimes is one guy in World v World that hates one of them would run into their group and throw down like a fire field. And it would mess up all their combos, and you've got one group of 50 people that vanishes, and the other group of 50 people can't go invisible, and it becomes very one-sided. So literally one guy could basically make it not fun for 50 to 100 other people because they did not have an environment where they could do this without outside interference. This could potentially solve problems like that. Now, that exact issue was fixed when they changed combo fields to prioritize your own over other people's. So that is less of an issue now, but that's been a problem in the past, so that is just an example off the top of my head. Okay. Additionally, we'll be introducing options to allow you to extend PvP combat outside of the confines of the guild arena, meaning you can battle your friends across the entire guild hall map. Sky scale aerial duels, anyone? We look forward to seeing what you do with your new battlefields. This feature goes live in January. And honestly, this is something that it doesn't appeal to me personally, but I love the idea of this so much. Some of you have seen the insane racetracks that Roller Beetle racers have made in their guild halls. Imagine people making a dedicated guild hall for like massive guild versus guild fighting, like with objectives and walls to line of sight corners and just stuff like that. It could be, dude, they could make freaking dust from Counter-Strike. Like the sky is the limit because Guild Hall has free building. You have building blocks in there like it's a Minecraft. You can build whatever you want. So very excited to see what people do in there with that. All right, world restructuring news. As a refresher, we're in the process of making big changes to how teams are structured in the World v World game mode. Currently, players choose a world, such as Blackgate and Desolation, to play on, and each week they are matched up against other worlds based on their performance in the previous match. The system has one critical flaw. Seasoned player population fluctuations and world transfers result in some teams feeling very empty and others being unbearably full. To address this, we sometimes link worlds together as a single team, but the relatively small pool of worlds makes it difficult to create balanced matches from a player population standpoint. World restructuring is a feature that aims to address player pop imbalances and create great matches. It achieves this by depreciating the current concept of shards, aka worlds or servers, and introducing a team building system to the game mode in which players and guilds are programmatically redistributed to new teams, previously known as shards, on a set schedule. This gives us more flexibility and granularity when creating new teams and helps address natural fluctuations in population over time. It also gives players more agency in choosing who they want to play with on an ongoing basis and allows long-standing communities to continue playing together. That is something I forgot when I was doing the recap earlier for Newbie Noobs. This currently, you can only play with a friend in World v World if you're on the same server most of the time. However, on this new system that they aim to have, you and a friend that are in the same guild but on different servers would be able to play together in World v World. All right, in a previous studio update, and there's a link to it, we talked about adjusting our priorities to focus on releasing a live, always-on version of World Restructuring as soon as possible, rather than waiting for the complete version of World Restructuring. This moved up our timeline for releasing the first version of the World Restructuring system, and we're now approaching what we hope is the final beta test before we enable the system 24/7. That beta will include bug fixes for World v World guild selection visual issues and several queue failure bugs. Incorrect map names being shown in the contract list in guild panel, players being redirected to the wrong map, and various UI issues at reset. We've also added some new metrics to our team building algorithm to help create more balanced matches, taking into account commanders, time zones, and more. What's been postponed? To achieve our goal of getting World Restructuring into a 24/7 beta state, we are postponing development on the following features for the initial release of World Restructuring, although they're on our list for possible future improvements. Alliances. Alliances refers to an additional group management system on top of World Restructuring that would allow multiple smaller World v World guilds to band together as a single entity for team creation. For example, if you've got a bunch of guilds that have 10 really active people in each one, they could ally together and then and then play together versus another big group that's allied together, like from Maguma, for example. As a single entity. For now, we're focused on developing the best version of team building algorithm for maximizing the player experience at World v World guild level. It's worth noting that the current planned player count for an alliance is 500, which is identical to the current max roster size for a single guild. In other words, guilds as they currently exist can be used as a proxy for alliances. Team transfers. Once a match is started, there will not be a way for a player to initiate a transfer between teams. Players will need to wait until the next team creation event or season to be placed with a different guild. To help migrate this in the short term, we'll be reducing the duration of a season from 8 weeks to 4 weeks. Where do we go from here? This is just the beginning of the World Restructuring system. We have several features that we are discussing for future implementation, depending on what player feedback looks like after the first version of the system is live. Some examples include additional World v World guild information and management in the guild panel, team building algorithm adjustments and improvements, and scoring adjustments. Until next time, To recap, in Q1 of 2024, we'll be running a World Restructuring beta. This beta helps us approach our goal of releasing a live version of the guild-based World Restructuring system by testing our new team builder, UI updates, and bug fixes. If the beta goes well, we'll be able to move forward with turning the system on full time, which will allow us to get constant live data and community feedback to inform future development. We'll continue to share development information for World vs. World, I can't talk, and other game systems here, although we don't have much in the way of news until after the start of the new year. We'll see you in the game. All right, and then there was a few pictures here of some people in, that's a Guildhall arena, that's a Guildhall arena, it's the Gilded one, and this is just a bunch of people running through World vs. World. So yeah, that's it. That is all the new news they have on that. So if this was a feature that you have been looking forward to, then, you know, Q1 of 2024, which is the first 3 months of 2024, there should be an update. I honestly, as someone who's not, you know, super passionate about the guild versus guild scene, I'm kind of an outsider looking in. I am really looking forward just to seeing what they do with Guildhall. So if you have any ideas for turning your Guildhall into some kind of big fighting arena, you could go ahead and start on that. You know, the construction work, getting that planned out. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what people make. But that's it for now. Any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, corrections, anything I got wrong, put them in the comments down below. Let the community know, and I'll see you in the next one.